you ever wondered how lucky we are to have the technology that we have nowadays? Imagine if we still had to use a locomotive train to get to and where we need to be. Could you imagine how inconvenient that'd be? Luckily, the great American inventor, Henry Ford, came up with the idea of the Model T car. Without this invention, who knows if we would actually have a car to get whenever we turn 16. I've never had the honor of meeting Henry Ford before because he had passed away before I was born. I'm very fascinated with the invention of the car though, so I followed him quite well. It started whenever I was a very young boy and enjoyed playing with toy cars and watching my dad work on the car. I always found it interesting how they worked. Whenever I was old enough to finally learn how they worked, I was intrigued and wanted to know more. Today I'm going to tell you about Henry Ford and his life and his early life, his time-changing invention, and the development of the assembly line used for mass production. Henry Ford may be the mind behind the invention of the car, but he has other interesting qualities that I'm going to talk about today. Henry Ford's early life began July 30th, 1863, whenever he was born in Dearborn, Michigan. He was born into a farming family. He was the first of 6 children that his parents had, and he could not stand to work on the farm as he was interested in machinery and engines and how they worked. According to the American Association of Museums in 2003, he left his home at the age of 16 and moved to Detroit. In Detroit, his first job was to work as an apprentice mechanist. In 1891, he became an engineer with the Edison Illuminating Company. While he was working with Edison at the Illuminating Company, he came up with multiple engines and the quadricycle. The quadricycle was basically a box with 4 wheels on each side, a steering column, and it was guided kind of like a boat. After a few more years of toying around with the quadricycle, he came out with his time-changing invention. In 1908, the invention of his that came out was the Model T car. According to Inventors.com in 2004, he wanted to make sure that the car was affordable for most everyone, so he priced it at $950. In the Model T's 19-year production, it fell all the way to $280 by the end of the 19 years. During the 19-year production, the Model T had 15,500,000 cars created. The invention of the Model T heralds as the beginning of the motor age. The Model T was first known as a luxury item, but as it kept going through the 19 years of production, it wore down to the working class people and the ordinary man. While producing the Model T, Henry Ford came up with the development of the assembly line. Henry Ford realized that if he was going to maximize his production of the Model T, he was going to need to do something, so he came up with the assembly line. He broke down the assembly line into 84 parts, and he had workers who were specialized in one of the 84 parts to do all the work, so they would specialize in just a single part, and it'd make time go by quicker. According to PBS Online, he tested the theory for 5 years from 1908 to 1913. After the test for 5 years, he was the first one to ever come up with the production assembly line. As you can see, Henry Ford went from being an unknown rural city kid from Dearborn, Michigan, into one of the best inventors of our modern time with the Model T car and the invention of the assembly line. Henry Ford has gone down as one of the best inventors of our time and has led the way for other inventors to dream big. I don't think some people realize how important he was to our society now as a whole, as Detroit has gone into hard economic times, and he's not alive anymore, but Ford has kind of helped him get out of it, and he will go down in history as one of the best inventors.